Bert had reached out to me and asked if I could kind of give everyone, we were going to do 2 classes originally. One was going to be a beginner's level with tools mainly, and then the other one was going to be more advanced. So this is kind of a combo of both. So some of you, this might be a review of things you already know. Some of you may be new. Just so you know who I am, I've been running R4 social media now for a few months. And so if any of you have anything from your organizations that you want us to share on the website and on social media channels with R4 Alliance, please email me. I've put cards out on the tables because we would love to share what you have going on, and we'd love to help you get the word out and share what you have coming up. I do peek at the calendar to see events that are coming up, but if there's anything that you are kind of like, this is extremely important that we get it out, please give me a heads up on that. It's a little bit about me. I was in the Army for 10 years doing social media. The bottom picture is my 6-year-old. She's a riot. And I also run a nonprofit called Pinups for Patriots, which unfortunately the girls couldn't come yesterday, but if you ever have a 50s themed event and need support from some of our ladies, let me know. This is what we're going to go over today. Social media, everybody's kind of like, oh, I need to be doing more on social media, but sometimes they don't know why, or they really don't know what channels that they should use. We try to kind of do so many things in a day that sometimes social media is the last thing that you want to take care of with everything else that you have going on. Okay, so social media, you guys already know this, obviously. Websites and applications that enable users to create and share content, participate in social networking. The idea of marketing is really using all of those channels to communicate and to get the eyeballs of the people that you want to attract. And typically, every organization has multiple target audiences. You probably want to attract potential donors, potential sponsors, potential partners, and there's people who are going to benefit from the program. So there's a lot of people to consider when you're messaging out all your social media postings. So that's where we get into the content. So the reason I put this up is because a lot of people are so concerned about posting on social media, lots of things, but if you look at it really content first, social media is only a channel. It's really just a method of getting out the content that you're producing or that you have, your events, videos, blogs, press releases, partnership announcements, all of those things are content, and every piece of content that you have at your fingertips can be used in many different ways. So you don't have to always stress out that you don't have enough stuff going on social media. You can take one piece of content and kind of use it across. So this is kind of all the things that we use to communicate messages with. Obviously, you all probably have access to quite a few of those things. I think people just get overwhelmed with all their options. So we're going to talk about that today. Sorry about the weird spacing, but so what I mean by multi-purpose, the reason I want to start with the content is because so many of the people that I work with, we did this great event, I had somebody take video, we hired a video person, now we're going to put it on YouTube, and so they put it on YouTube, they tweet it out, and then that's all they do with it. And I just wanted to kind of give you an example of what you could do with just one video. If you want to put it on YouTube, absolutely, share it on social media. But if you transcribe that video, some people, if they're traveling or if they're in a place where they don't have a headset, they don't necessarily want to play the video out loud where they are. So a lot of people actually read the transcriptions. Not only does that help with people who don't want to watch video on their phone, but it also helps with people with your search engine results as well. Because the keywords, more than likely the interview that you're doing is going to have someone talking about your organization. The transcription helps with that. And then also you can turn it into a blog. You can put it out in a newsletter. You can chunk it out if there's several different themes in one interview, separate those things into different topics, and it really gives you the ability to take one. It saves you a lot of time, and you can use it across multiple channels. Normally I don't start with the content part, but it totally feeds in. These are just some ideas, like say that today's speaker, for example, we did a live stream on Facebook while she was speaking. And then I can take it later, transcribe it, and then we can put it in a blog. We can even embed that Facebook video on our website and add a little bit more information about her, maybe add photos, and it really wouldn't take you more than an hour to create multiple types of content.
Have you been using it on have you been taking videos and editing them and using it on Instagram Live too, where you can break it into segments? So if you, let's say,
like Snapchat-ish?
Yes.
I did a very quick one in the very beginning. I haven't been using Snapchat or the Snapchat-y feature much.
I've been seeing a lot of places doing that, where they take that video and start breaking it up into 20-second segments, and so when you pull up, let's say, their Instagram feed, the video, it's a long one usually, and you've got to go through all their pieces. But if you're interested in it, then you can watch the whole video on the top part of Instagram.
Right, that's a really great way to do it, just to give you multiple ways to link them into your video. And if you're at an event, it's great, because you can do short snippets of different things if you want to combine it during an event type situation. So, I broke down a couple. The main three that I'm going to talk about today are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We picked the ones that we feel would be the best for nonprofit organizations to utilize. So the advantages of Facebook, everybody can probably read that. It's free, obviously, to start a business page. Content can be varied. And now they have the live streaming. Facebook is pretty much implementing every time like a new thing comes out in another channel. They're trying to find the Facebook way to do it as well, to add that on. There's even a new marketplace feature that kind of imitates Craigslist. Not that may not be useful, may be useful, but I know they keep adding things like that. You can customize cover images, constantly changing it, highlighting what you need to highlight. And disadvantages, algorithm changes. A lot of people get frustrated with that, and recently they've done a lot to kind of squish down your organic traffic. They definitely are pushing people to purchase advertising on their platform, and it's getting more and more common for people to typically boost postings, where before that wasn't really a best practice as much, but now within the last year, people are they're boosting postings, they're running ads that are targeted towards their demographic to get more traffic. Here's just some do's and don'ts, and I can even provide slides so you don't have to take too many notes. I can provide them on my website. I'll have a link, KalenMarieConsulting.com/R4, and I'll put all these slides on there if you want to get them after this. I'll have them down there by the end of the day tomorrow. So definitely make sure to follow the rules on your platform. I taught this class in San Diego a couple months ago, a different version of it, and I had someone ask me, I guess they got put in Facebook jail. Has anybody ever had that happen to them? Yeah. Yes, they literally stop you from being able to do anything. I think you can't even log in, and they'll take your Facebook page down temporarily, different things. Basically, if you appear to be spamming people, constantly posting your stuff on private groups especially. So I know a lot of us are probably part of a ton of different military private groups, like nonprofits of San Diego for military or military business owners, or I'm probably part of 70 something. People add you to things because they feel that you should be in there. Well, if you're promoting something and you go into these private groups and you're constantly posting the same exact thing in every single group over and over again, that can also land you in Facebook jail. There's certain things that you may not know that all of a sudden you don't have access to stuff that you did before. I threw in also the cover image sizing. They've actually changed that, I believe, just recently when they took the thumbnail and moved it out. So, but I've been still creating in that size, and it looks pretty great in that square too. So if you already have it designed, it shouldn't have affected you much when they changed the design out. Keeping the cover compelling, creating an image that tells a story. Don't leave your business section blank. A lot of people leave their website information out, or their phone number out, or their hours out of there. And Facebook is super powerful on Google. It's a really great search tool, so if people are trying to find hours about your business or anything else about you, you're really going to have all that information in there. Facebook will also give people a timeout if they have less than 10,000 followers and they're posting a lot per day. So just keep an eye on your traffic as you increase or decrease the number of postings. They don't only a couple people I've met have had that happen, where they're posted like 4 or 5 times a day. And I know the threshold is 10,000. Also, your advertising rates go down, the price goes down when you get 10,000 likes or more. So there is a good reason, other than just awareness, to raise your numbers up to a certain level. You get some benefits from Facebook. This was just some cover examples. This is the old way, the old cover images, and then versus the newer ones, just to give you some ideas on how companies use that type of thing. Okay, Twitter, same thing, advantages, disadvantages. It's free, of course. And the rumor that you post a disclaimer and everything will be posted by a certain day, that whole legal issue, that's actually false. Like, you post on their platform, your stuff is still protected by whatever your privacy settings are on your page. I forgot to mention that because people had asked me about that too. So on here you can customize it. Everybody kind of knows Twitter. Has anyone ever done a Twitter party? They're not as popular as they used to be, but no. They can be effective. Twitter parties, you can get all your partners involved if you're promoting certain things. So if you have a campaign where you want to raise, you know, I don't know how much, even if it's like $5,000 for a certain event, or you have a fundraising thing you want to do, you can get your existing partners. You can actually have a Twitter party, and there's a way to set that up where you get everyone in the discussion and you use a specific hashtag during the conversation. So people, it's like a live Q&A. It usually lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Everybody shares when the Twitter party is going to be, and you contact everyone, they log in, and they start discussing. So like it could have, I don't know that they did this for Hidden Heroes, but they could have done a Twitter party for it where you all go in, you talk about caregiver issues for that 30 minutes to an hour, and then the person running the campaign can share what they give to the caregiver community and what initiative. I know I worked on one with TriWest. They did one to announce their new dental program. So we had all the people that were launching with TriWest, and they talked about what the new dental program was going to be. People were able to ask them questions about the program, and some kind of complained about the program, and so, but they were able to address the concerns and the new rollout on there live with people from TriWest. So it actually turned out pretty great, and the engagement was good because there's moderators that would you would be the moderator if you're hosting it, making sure that the flow of conversation keeps going. And those things are trackable too, so they count towards social reach if you're doing any kind of media presentation, media kit with partners to show your social reach on there. Those metrics are all trackable, which is great. Disadvantage, the only one I was going to talk about is hashtag hijacking. I don't know, has anyone experienced that, where you see people, so sometimes people who are starting out, they're running an event, they will sometimes use a hashtag that's already super, super popular, but it's used by a corporation or some other entity, and they will like deliberately use that hashtag in order to try to bump the numbers up for the new program. That can be awesome for somebody that's trying to piggyback off of it, and it used to not be that big of a deal, but if you're a company that gets a ton of traction on there and somebody else takes your hashtag, just keep monitoring that stuff. Usually with small companies and small organizations, it's not as big of a concern. But using the same one for different things can sometimes cloud the results if you're tracking a specific campaign. So Twitter, what I recommend on Twitter is really engaging influencers there, finding out who in your space is influential. That's why there's so many celebrities that are on Twitter talking to each other on there about stuff. Different political people are on there constantly tagging each other, talking to each other about what's going on. It's a great way to interact with those people. I've had success interacting with news media using it. If there's a trending topic that is relevant to some organization that I'm working with, you can oftentimes reach out to media, say somebody from your organization would like to make a comment about something or get interviewed somehow and you're not able to get through to the news network. Sometimes you can get them on Twitter, private messaging news media on Twitter, they're all on there. So that I think is probably one of the most effective ways to use Twitter that I've seen. And then a couple of don'ts. Sometimes people only follow other people that are doing the exact same thing as them, and oftentimes you're targeting people who they're not doing what you're doing, you're targeting different audiences. Like self-help coaches, a lot of times they'll follow each other And so targeting people that you're actually looking for versus people doing the same thing that you're doing. And yeah, targeting, knowing who you want to talk to and why, obviously. And this is just an example of my Twitter and how I have it set up. And then the cover image is humongous, so you can actually do a lot with that based on the size of it. Instagram, obviously short video picture. They don't give you a ton of leeway in what you can do. One of the biggest disadvantages is the URLs on, Instagram. The URLs are not clickable. And I'm sure they're gonna change that, I don't know. I haven't heard that they are, but it's one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people that you just can't, you can't actually, if you post a link anywhere in the caption area, they can't click it, they have to copy paste it into another window in order to visit that link. It's kind of a bummer, hopefully they change that. But if you have your website URL in the actual bio area, it's clickable. Is anybody not using Instagram right now or has not really been familiar with it? So most of you already have been on there and you already use it. One thing that is obviously really useful is the hashtag. Has anybody used a hashtag to run a campaign at all on any of the platforms? Okay, so there's a way if you you do a campaign using a tracking hashtag. There's actually websites like Hashtracker. There's several ones that are really good, and you can actually track who's engaging, how many people are engaging, where the reach was, did they share your information. So that's the whole reason. I don't know if I'm trying to gauge how beginner and how experienced that you guys are, so I don't want to share things that you already know. So using hashtags in Instagram is super effective. People follow different things, hashtagging your actual organization's name, and also any subject matter that goes with it, like veterans, military. Reposting on there, you can only repost. Like in Twitter, you can retweet things pretty easily. With Instagram, you actually have to download a separate app called a repost app, or there's a couple of other ones now that are really good. And I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I think it's like Regram or something like that. And basically you copy, it makes you copy the link in the actual app, and then you have to open up the other app and then it'll repost it, but it'll say who you're sharing it from. So it's a little bit less flexible than the other outlets, but they do also have that Snapchat feature on Instagram, just like Instagram has the Snapchat feature that they just released recently. Sorry about that she mentioned earlier. Has anyone used that yet to do stories? Just one person? So basically on the top, you'll see all the circles on Instagram that start popping up, and those are all videos. You can do a bunch of snippets, you can do one long video, and it'll go to that top of whatever your newsfeed is, it goes to the very top. So it's handy if you have events happening. You can use that. And then like buying followers, I don't know if you have any experience with that. I've ever paid for a company to add followers to any of your lists. I work with some nonprofits that I know they're just starting out, and it's really hard when you start out because you want people to know what you're doing, and you want to have an audience, and you want to have some type of, I just warn against that because I've known a couple clients where they've come to me, they've actually already done that. They bought like 5,000 likes on Facebook, or they bought a couple thousand likes. There are companies that you pay online and they will like go into your page and have a ton of people liking it. They create these profiles that are just made for doing that. But every single social media platform is pretty much cracked down on it, and they will start to delete all those likes within like less than a month, sometimes within a week. You'll see most of those numbers drop down. So if you ever get the urge to spend $25 to get thousands of likes automatically, resist the urge and keep building your following organically, because eventually, pretty quickly, they'll start nailing you for that. Social media themes, so these are just tools. So Bert just said, is there any way you can share tools that are easy that people can use, or some hacks that people that are super busy running nonprofits could use, that so they don't have to worry so much about all this stuff. So this is kind of a go-to templating system that I use. I just put examples in here. This is different for every single organization, depending on what you do. So if for some reason I'm not sure, like we don't have content that like maybe there's a breaking news thing and it bumped content out, or you need to think of some ideas and you're kind of stuck, your brain is blocked out, you can have templates. So there's some, so Military Monday, if you're working with veterans, that's a hashtag that's extremely popular, sometimes hashtag MM. So if you use those in your postings and you post things that are military related on Monday, you could have a day that you always post about caregivers. That way it's your go-to theme for that day, and it simplifies each day into chunks. So there's, maybe think of 7 categories, maybe you only have 3, so copy those categories and spread them out. That way you have some consistency in what you're posting and when. But you don't always have to prescribe by that, obviously. It just gives you like a go-to thing if you're stuck. And then I put just ideas, lazy Sunday ideas, inspirational quotes. A lot of people use those with logos, quotes, testimonials from people who you've worked with, turning that into a graphic for Instagram, turning it into, turning into graphic with Instagram, throwing your logo up on there. And I'll show you some tools that do that. Does anybody use Canva by any chance? Canva is like a Photoshop. Okay, one person uses Canva. It's super easy. It's free to set up an account, canva.com. And it gives you hundreds of free images to choose from that are background images. And then you can put a quote, a testimonial, or even if you want to use your own image, you can upload that. And then you can put your logo over the top. Put your website link, all those types of things, so that you can create graphics for Instagram or any other channel that you need graphics for. And it actually only takes a few minutes. You don't have to know any coding. You don't have to know how to do Photoshop. It's super easy. Google Docs, the app hack that I wanted to share. Google Docs actually has a recorder.
Did you say is it Canvas or
Canva? It's like Canvas without the S.
Oh, okay.
C-A-N-V-A.
There's one with an S.
Yeah.
So.
Canva.com, sorry. It's an app. They actually have a phone app now, I think. It used to be just on desktop. Now they have an app. So if you really hate writing blogs, this is the trick that I tell people. Go on Google Docs, and they have a free, this came out a while ago, but it was within the last year, I think, voice recording. So you can actually go into Google, have a 9-line document, talk your blog out, and have it type for you, and just edit it. And it takes no time at all to kind of talk a blog if you know what it's about. Or if you need to retype notes, just read your notes verbatim, have it type it for you, edit that. It's not always 100%, obviously, you're gonna speak pretty clearly so that it'll get all the words in, but if you're not a typer, you don't like writing, a lot of people that I've talked to have used this, even to publish an ebook. They've talked their books instead of typing them all out. Okay, so buffer.com it's a tool that I love. This is the one that I use primarily for everything. It's an old screenshot of my dashboard. This pretty much allows you to post in those 5 channels. Some of the stuff has to be written, obviously, for Twitter, so sometimes you can schedule them all at once if it's a shorter message, or you rewrite them for each channel and load them in. And obviously some take photos, some don't, like Google Plus and Instagram require some kind of photo media element when you use Buffer with it. So you fill in what you want to post in these little boxes, and it gives you all of after you post, it gives you analytics, it tells you how many people you reached, how many clicked on it. Even if you go outside of the app and you actually post it to the social media channel separately, it'll pull that information anyway. So say one day that something just pops up on your news feed and you share it on Facebook and you're like, oh crap, I didn't put it in the Buffer app, I don't know if my analytics are gonna go in. It will pull it, doesn't matter how you post, it'll tell you what your analytics are. This is a 30-day calendar of postings. Just so basically you can collaborate on your social media with other people on your team. It allows you to add team members. It also allows team members to submit postings, designs, everything in a queue so that it gets to be approved by whoever the approval person is. So if you have interns, or if you have volunteers who are not with you all the time, maybe they wanna do some of this graphic design stuff on the side, load a graphic in there, save it, it'll give you an alert and say, so whoever, their email address will pop up, so-and-so just created a graphic, it's in a queue, needs to be approved to get put into the buffer queue to go out on social media. You can schedule what time, you can schedule what date, you can drag and drop all these little blocks that are pre-scheduled. When there's a dark gray box, it means that it was on an optimization schedule, so that buffer will actually analyze your traffic and you can optimize it. So it'll tell you when the most people are clicking things, what time of day, what day of the week, all of that, and it'll optimize that for you. You can run the optimization tool every week if you want, every month, just to keep a pulse on when the best times are that people are engaging with your content. And then if you want to move things around because, say, a breaking news story in your field happens, you can drag out whatever's scheduled and replace it with something else. Hootsuite is another one. This one, my brain doesn't work the way Hootsuite works, so I have trouble using it. I don't like the layout of it, but it does the same exact thing. You can schedule the icon on the left that looks like a paper airplane at the third one down. It allows you to schedule stuff in advance, just like Buffer does. It doesn't show you a 30-day calendar view, which I like. And it also, the analytics are a little bit different, and it costs more per month. The basic plan on Buffer is $10 a month, and I think that allows you up to 5 users. I can't remember Hootsuite, but I think it's more than that. I want to say it's $29 a month. I'll have to go check. Unless you get the enterprise system Hootsuite, which is, I think, more. I'll have to go back. If you have any questions and I can't remember them off the top of my head, I'll write them down for you and I'll get the answers. So this is what it looks like when you click into the different options. So you can track all your streams on here, who's interacting with them, click on analytics, publish stuff. It has an ad tracker feature. Buffer does not do that, doesn't do ad tracking. Buffer has a Canva type app in it, and it has 600,000 free images in there, which is more than what Canva has, but you have to do the paid account. And it also will allow, it has hundreds of quotes in there, like from all John F. Kennedy quotes, inspirational stuff, like Oprah, I don't know, anything, you just click through and it loads things in there for you automatically as well, which I didn't get a chance. So cross promotion is something that I know that they want to speak about today because we just have so many organizations doing awesome stuff, and sometimes what you're doing is actually, it's similar in nature, so you could share it with the people that you're working with. So there may be many different organizations here that do equine therapy, or many different organizations who focus on meditation as a therapy, and sharing and cross promoting may help because maybe you don't have a chapter in Wyoming, but somebody else from here does, and they see that you're tweeting something, retweeting it so that maybe your followers can see it. And also hashtagging, like for this conference, we're using hashtag R4 2016, but I try to use hashtag R4 Alliance as much as I can to also be able to follow that. So if you're doing something and it has to do with the Alliance or you want to share it with everybody else, we can use the similar hashtags. So follow all that stuff.
One of the, I'm an advocate for cross promotion. One of the problems that I run into on our Facebook posts or social media, that's Facebook's only thing I use, is kind of confusion with those who follow me. Like, okay, who are you? What exactly are you doing? Because I do a lot of cross promotion. Higher Ground, I push out information on Higher Ground. Reboot Camp, we did a push on those. The Team River Runners, we do a lot of different pushes because I believe in the collaboration. But the unfortunate outcome of that is we kind of liquefy our overall mission. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
How do I avoid doing that and still be able to cross promote?
I think it's going to be in the wording that you use. Because you could always say that, as part of the R4 Alliance, we're excited to share this event coming up from Higher Ground. They're an Alliance member just like we are. Check out their page.
Would you be able to, we made this discussion before,
Yeah.
would you be able to go ahead and implement what we discussed before, where you do a cross promotional and
Yeah, like a pre-canned
Yes.
tweets and pre-canned, yes.
Okay.
And we talked about that also, I think, with a couple of people, kind of doing templates that you can push out.
Speaking of templates, I just want to go back to the testimonials, and I have a question, but actually two questions. One is, we found out that written testimonials and anything media or video require, you have to have a kind of an all-encompassing waiver. And you have to have it included in there. So do you have a template of a waiver so that when you get a testimonial, you can use it in all forms? If you don't, we have one that we can send in Word and we can share.
I have
We got
waivers.
trouble once on that.
Okay. I have waivers for video and photo usage and stuff like that, but I've always requested permission from the person to share the testimonial. So I wouldn't recommend going on Yelp and just copy
No,
and
we
paste.
always do a waiver, but we
Yeah.
had one for written testimonial, and when we wanted to use it in another form, like on
I
TV
see.
or on something else, we had to go back and get a whole different waiver. So
Okay,
we
like a
decided to
multimedia
combine
use.
it so that we can use their name and likeness in the different, you have to list the different forms.
Well, that would be a good thing to have. I don't have something that's all encompassing like that.
And then I have a question, because I couldn't tell if we had a group and they were with us and they wanted to do a group photo and they were joking around saying that, no one could take any pictures. They were special ops. And is that a joke or is that real?
That's real.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's real.
Right, so if it's a
Okay.
special ops group, sometimes I've seen people take pictures and just keep them for themselves, maybe frame it, but putting it out on social,
No,
especially.
we would have never.
Oh,
But
right.
I didn't know if that was a real thing.
Yeah, it is a
Sometimes
real
they're
thing.
messing around and it's hard to tell.
Yes, I did public affairs, I didn't say what I did in the Army, but that was my job, so when, yeah, anytime special ops, we either didn't put an image out or we had to blur their faces out.
And is that just special ops or is that also active duty?
Active duty can be exception if there's public affairs or commander's approval.
It will always tell you,
Yep.
you can't put it on Facebook. I've been around the F-35 for 5 years. This is the first year that they said, oh, sure, you can put it on Facebook today. But always before, just pay attention to what that individual tells you. They will be very clear about whether you can post it.
Yep, and usually they will know, yeah, somebody will have told them, oh, they're married, no, get it published on.
And it doesn't matter their status, if they're active or veteran, special ops is not.
And, yeah,
So I found that LinkedIn is a tremendously powerful platform as well. And you can create a company page on there.
yep,
The fabulous thing about LinkedIn, people think it's just for job hunters or companies looking for people to fill jobs. That's not true at all. There are many, many, many military on LinkedIn, which surprised me, frankly, but you can start getting connected and you can go on someone's LinkedIn page and see who they're connected to and send them an invitation. It's really powerful. You can advertise R4 Alliance right on the front, you have a company page, you have an individual page. It is a really good way to connect professionally.
yes, we do have an R4 page, and we post on there regularly. I think it is great for building connections. As far as analytics go, from what we push out on that page, it doesn't do as well as our other channels, but I mean, it still gets engagement on LinkedIn. Yeah. But I think absolutely using it for reaching out to people that you don't know or who you want to know or in partnerships is so good. There's a ton of military. Is there any other questions or things that you've done that you feel worked well for your organization that you might want to share with anybody else or, yeah?
I don't know if you mentioned this when you mentioned Canva, but there's just like a regular free version, but you can get the professional version for free if you have a 501c3. So that's what we do. And it's really helpful.
Perfect. No, that's really helpful.
Canva, I have no background in graphic design, but I can make things for social media that look like ideas, so it's really helpful.
Yeah, you don't need to know how to do design it. It's templated, so she said if you didn't hear her, it's 501c3 gets a free account, she said, on Canva.
One of the things that a road where I spend too much time. I see the benefit in social media, but I can't get my arms around managing all these applications. Can you tell us for you how you do that, how you effectively manage social media and still get all the other things done that you need to do?
I batch. So if I know that, I'll batch content. If I know that I have content ahead of time. So if I know that I have blogs in the queue or whatever, I'll make sure like all the writing, I'll start all the drafts at the same time. I may not finish all the drafts that day, but I'll start all the drafts, I'll go back to them, add to them. If I know, my goal is always to try to schedule at least a week at a time. Sometimes I don't get to that, and I'll do, in the morning, I can spend an hour and do postings for a few days, or for that day. It is a lot, it's time consuming. If you spend an hour a day just putting a couple posts out a day, Buffer can streamline that. So, I mean, I would say 2 pieces of content a day would be ideal. For most small organizations, you can do that. And if you can just say, okay, for 1 hour in the morning, I'm gonna write 1 blog, because if you wrote a blog a day, but you didn't post every single day that blog, you can save content. Or spend 1 day writing blogs for the whole day, and then batch that content out. And then you can have stuff stored up. But yeah, you definitely have to pour time into that. I don't know, there's no way around it, but I know other than batching.
So, I apologize if you covered this. I showed up a little bit late, but so my organization right now, we're kind of going through a little bit of, I guess, push and pull between the like home office and the reps out in the field and our volunteers. So our problem that we're having right now is that we have about 70 Facebook pages that are active across the country for our different chapters that we have, these Project Heroes. They had said that, and when I say they, I'm speaking of the home office, had said that they wanted to cut back on the amount of Facebook book groups that they have that we're managing, but at the same time, they wanted to still keep the structure that we have. And I said, in my personal opinion, I didn't think it was possible because these people, a lot of these of our athletes rely on these local forums. Like what's the weather today? Are we gonna go out and ride the bike today, or is it kind of gonna, is it gonna rain? What's going on? And they don't want to talk on just, let's say maybe like the state of Florida Facebook page, for our organization, for Project Hero. They want something local. So, do you have any experience with something like that, or hear of any other organizations? I think we're not the only organization that's really run into this, because again, it's hard to manage, especially when they're not paid employees and they're volunteers, and they're the ones running the page. It's very hard to manage your brand and make sure that things are being done the right way.
Right, and so I did run into this with my own nonprofit, the Pin Up for Patriots one. So what we ended up doing is I had 50 pages, and we ended up, right now we have only 23 active states. So I ended up just deleting all the pages we weren't using, because my big fear was someone's going to take my name and I'm not going to have a page for this state, and then the local people aren't going to have. So I took them all, and I had so many pages on the back end, so I started to delete. This was a few years ago, and then I said, the national page that we had was it was just me posting and sharing stuff off the other pages. So I merged all. I mean, this is obviously going to be the choice of your higher up people, but
Yeah.
we merged all the public ones and gave every point person, social media leader in that area the admin privileges they needed. I think I put them up to editor, and I'm the only admin, and one other girl's an admin, and then the rest of them are editors. They can post on there, they can go live, they can, but I do a training with them on the back end. They have a web course that I made, and it's like a PowerPoint deck that I talk them through best practices, hashtags, what can they post, what they can't post. I do a training. And then they have private groups for their local areas where they can do how's the weather, are we gonna run today? All their public events get posted on Facebook with an actual event, the Facebook events. That link out, and then you can sell tickets from there also. That's how we managed it. I'm sure you probably have a marketing agency or a social media person that would have to maybe talk to you about it.
Yeah, all right, thank you. I was just curious, yeah, because I think it's good to just have
Yeah, we did it that way, and it's been really effective, cause now I don't hardly post at all on the actual one, and they just go crazy with it, and our numbers went up, cause they got fun now, because they're on the page with all the traffic, and they get more response too, so.
Awesome.
Yes,
I just wanted to suggest one tool that I use that might be helpful for blogs. It repurposes blogs. It fragments your blogs and posts them out onto social media over the course of a year. It's called Missing Letter. So it helps.
Missing Letter?
Missing Letter.
okay,
And so it helps you to populate your social media with your blog content, so you get more bang for your buck.
awesome, is that missingletter.com, is that the website?
No, I'm not sure. It's missing LETT_R is the name of the software.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, but I'll get with you and then I can put it on the page.
Okay.
So I'll put it on my, website so people can pull it. Thank you.